Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Jessica Tijerina and we are talking about the 2020 Minnesota Virtual Garlic Festival this year. I'd like to introduce to you today Madddie from Eversharp, and if you guys don't know what that is, you are in for a real treat. It's kind of a hidden gem in Northeast Minneapolis where I grew up. So Madddie, welcome. Thank you so much for participating in this with us this year as part of the virtual campaign for the 2020 Minnesota Garlic Festival.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. My name is Madddie. Eversharp is a small family-owned business in Northeast Minneapolis, and I've worked here since high school, so a couple of years now. But we have a lot of fun. We focus on kitchen cutlery. We sharpen a lot of knives. We're an authorized factory service center for Kyocera, Kyocera ceramic knives, bunch of other stuff. But we also really focus on giving back to the community. We work with Urban Roots, which is a great local organization that works with farming and youth and teaches them skills on farming, cooking, and a bunch of other things. And we just have fun being part of our community.
Yeah, I love that. And I had asked Madddie to bring that up because I had recalled reading about that. I think every year you choose an organization to partner with, correct? And this year it's Urban Roots, which I thought was such a perfect pairing to what we do as well through the Sustainable Farming Association. You know, Eversharp donates part of the proceeds, I think, from One Day, right? I believe. And it goes to Urban Roots. And I received one of the first free sharpening coupons from you guys at Garlic Fest because it was my first year volunteering 5 years ago with Mary Jane, and I remember coming in and getting my knives sharpened. And I do remember bringing in my ceramic as well as my bread knife. So I know a lot of people don't think that they even need to bother with buying a bread knife because they don't think you can sharpen it. But you can sharpen bread knives, tomato knives, ceramic knives, kitchen shears and scissors, all that kind of stuff. Anything that's got a blade or an edge to it, pretty much you guys can sharpen, correct?
Exactly. And you know, sometimes it's fun. People find old tools from like their grandpa's farm and can this be sharpened? And it's like, let's figure it out. Yes, it can. But yeah, it's fun seeing people's kind of passed down treasures that come in, like they find their grandma's old cook's knife and is it worth sharpening? Usually they think that because it's a high carbon blade and it's like turned black. I'm like, no, it's actually the best kind of knife. Don't throw that away.
I love that. Yeah, people have to understand the look and feel of a dirty knife versus an aged knife. Absolutely. Yeah, we're so used to seeing such shiny knives. Or the Damascus are really pretty as well. If you guys don't know what that is, it's where they press a lot of different types of metal together and you get this beautiful design in it. Yeah, I love that. I have one that's like that.
So I get to do the buying, and so I always say I would bring in things that I want to buy for myself. And unfortunately, that is very true for my kitchen. So we buy things that we want to get. And so we focus on if we get great deals on good cookware. So we don't always have full lines of things. We can special order things. But when we can get something for $100 instead of $300, we grab those and that kind of thing. And so we have, peelers, pepper mills, zesters, lots of so we get a lot of professional chefs, so we have a lot of plating tools, culinary tools for that kind of thing. We try to cover the class list at the culinary school.
Oh, cool.
Food scales we just started getting in. Really, we do listen to customers, so if we get a bunch of requests for weird things, we look, okay, how do we bring this in? How do we fit it in our tiny room?
So give me an example of a weird thing.
Well, for me, I just never thought of this, so we got a ton of requests for grapefruit knives. Oh. I didn't think people wanted that, but we sell a ton of them, and people often are looking, they're like, I cannot find a grapefruit knife. I'm like, is that really a thing? And
it is. That is another thing that you will find in the drawer next to your grandma's knives. I grew up using grapefruit knives with my grandmother, and you cannot find them.
No, and that's, we have one line, but it's kind of the nice old, it looks kind of like what you find from your grandma, and I was always like kind of surprised. So I keep a notebook by the counter and I write down what people are looking for, just to make sure we're not missing anything.
Yeah, I love that. And of course you can't carry everything, so you do your best to accommodate when you can, but you know, when you're getting 100 requests for grapefruit knives, let's carry some, right? Yeah, so I've been in your store several times. I know that there were a couple of times this past year where you guys were either closed or it was difficult to get in because of road construction or flooding or whatever. It just wasn't the year for that part of Northeast this year. And I love hearing the fact that, you know, you have such loyal and dedicated customers that you had mentioned they were even trudging through thunderstorms and through the mud just to come in for products or knife sharpening. And it's like, if you're a chef or even if you're just a home cook, the one thing that you need in your kitchen is a sharp knife. And if you don't know how to do that on your own, then you have to really go get it done. And I think I've heard this before, that you, as a home cook, you should probably have your knife sharpened, what, once every 3-4 months, maybe?
You know, if you're not doing maintenance things, and the thing is, we want you to be able to keep your knife sharp as long as possible. So we'll show you how to use your honing steel, your ceramic rods. So if you don't do anything at home maintenance-wise, yeah, 3 to 4 months is a pretty realistic time frame. That being said, my dad is really good about using his steel, and he gets about 1.5 years, and he cooks a ton at home. So it's all kind of a range of options. I consider it you're doing good if you get 6 months to a year. Your bread knives don't need to come in as often. Ceramic knives, you should get way more time out of that. Generally, when you see a ceramic knife come in sooner, maybe a partner didn't realize you're not supposed to go through something really hard with it and chipped it a little, and they're bringing it in to get fixed versus that it actually went dull. Because my ceramic knife, if you're using it kind of for its intended purposes, you can get a couple years out of it, really.
Yeah, I agree. When I teach cooking classes, I always show people a ceramic because a lot of people don't know they even exist, but they're wonderful for delicate items like herbs, and you know, without tearing the herbs, you can actually slice through the herbs, and very simple things. I've actually used them for tomatoes, the ones that come out of my garden, because they're very soft and you get a beautiful slice without tearing into it. And I use my ceramic. I actually had to replace mine 2 years ago because I dropped it, and they are very fragile because they're made out of ceramic. But I always tell people it's the sharpest knife in my kitchen. And before you even realize you cut yourself, and then you're like, oh, ow.
Pre-COVID, we were a hands-on store. So you could kind of see everything, but we never left ceramic knives out because even adults kind of assume they're plastic, and that's very dangerous. So we kind of set those aside and bring it out to specifically show somebody. But we actually just upgraded our sharpening equipment on ceramic knives and added a whole new system for those. And so we're really happy with how they're coming out. We're actually Kyocera's only authorized service sharpener for the country.
Oh, wonderful.
So ceramic knives, you have to sharpen on diamond. And so it's a whole different system, and you want to be careful when you're sharpening them to have the right ventilation and all that fun stuff. And so this involves some water, and it's what Kyocera actually was using to sharpen in their factories. And so we're thrilled with how it's going. We cut out some space in the back to make room for a new station. So the nice thing is we do have 2 options. We do same day sharpening, and then you can do next day pickup. Now when you bring in 12 buckets, we do need more than a couple of days. But you know, same day, since we reopened after COVID, and we're doing it a little differently now. We have a kiosk window just because we want to sanitize everybody's knives, and we are a small space, and so it's nice. We're all kind of family here, so we can kind of space out appropriately. But it's not feasible to have like a customer and employees here at the same time.
Yeah.
But same day is taking about an hour right now.
Okay.
The next day is always ready the next business day. But mail and sharpening, we're getting close to 2 to 3 turnaround, but we try to go for the 2 days.
Sure.
But when the mail carrier brings in like 30 packages on a Monday, it's a little like, oh, okay, we're going to be busy.
Yeah, which is great. That's a good problem to have, right? I love
Absolutely.
that. I love that you guys are staying busy. That means that you have loyal customers. It means you do a good job. It means you stand behind your mission and who you are, and I absolutely love being able to partner with you guys for Minnesota Garlic Fest. I can see them in the video, which is perfect. There's a hanging wall back there with cutting boards on there, and if you guys aren't familiar, those are Epicurean cutting boards. Madddie, can you talk a little bit about those and let us know kind of why I'm a little excited to talk about them?
Well, so one, they're a local product. They're made up in Superior. But the fun part is we get their imperfects. So we always sell them about 40% off of what you're going to find. And they have high standards. So like maybe their logo is double printed. Maybe there's a weird spot, but nothing that's going to impact how your cutting board works. And so we will order whatever they have available. So it's going to be their staples, not so much of the weird, like, they did a bear, like they'll have like one bear shape available, but like their standard, the ones you actually want to buy, we have those. Exactly.
I have a pig.
We've got like 100 of those.
Yeah.
Oh, we sold like 100 of those. The barbecue competition people love those.
Oh, of course they did. Yeah. So I had a friend of mine go to the location up in Superior. When she was telling me how much they were, I had her buy like 7 cutting boards.
Have too many.
For me, no, you can't. And plus, I teach cooking classes and I teach them in people's homes, and so I bring all of my materials with me. So to have 10, 12, 15 cutting boards is not out of the question for me.
No.
But what I love about this one, as well as, and this is a pig if you guys can't tell, is another one that's this shape and this size. I have another one that's about half that size. What's great about cutting boards of all different sizes is that if I'm just going to slice an apple in half and I don't want to cut on my granite countertop, which I don't have, but if I had one, I wouldn't want to cut on it, I'm going to grab just a simple cutting board, very quick, very light, grab it off my shelf, slice my apples into pieces, rinse it off, put it back in my dryer. It's so nice than having to lug out my cutting board that is, this size, for example.
Yeah.
This is one of my butchering cutting boards that I use for chicken, mostly. It's black, which I love, but just for purposes, I use it for mostly chicken, but sometimes I'll use it for things that will discolor my other cutting boards, like beets, stuff like that. And then I have another favorite one that is this one, because it comes with these little rubber grippies on the corners, so I can stick it on any type of surface without it sliding around. Just dangerous. That was only a portion of my cutting boards, you guys, but I love these Epicurean. And at one point in time, I had heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but at one point, did this company start from utilizing old skateboard ramps?
They did. The founders were skateboarders and were making ramps, and they realized we're giving scraps off to family members for cutting boards, and realized how brilliant it is actually to, make them as cutting boards. And now they're even knife handles. So Wustop has a line with the Epicure material.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yeah, and so it's called Epicure, short for Epicurean, and they come out with that, and so it's they do a different handle than they've done on other things, and so that's kind of fun too. I love seeing when they kind of go into lots of different products.
Yeah, it looks like, so Wustop is known to have, it's German engineering, so it's very angled and very kind of square, rectangle, hold, in the hand. And the Epicurean looks like it's a little more sleek, a little more slender. Oh, that's wonderful. I'll have to check those out. That's cool. Well, another part of that whole skateboarding ramp story was that these Epicurean boards are dishwasher safe. So that is another reason why I love them.
Yeah.
So they're great cutting boards. So the reason I was really excited to talk about these is because I believe that we're going to be giving away one of these Epicurean cutting boards. Yay! And it's one of my favorite with the grippies. See, I'm so excited because I had no idea which one she was going to choose. I love it. You guys are going to love it. We'll give away the cutting board, and then you have several knives in front of you, Madddie. Do you want to talk about those knives at all?
Well, so before COVID, you would come in, you can pick up anything, and so it looks different, but we're still a hands-on store. It's just going to look a little different, trying to make sure we're protecting employees and customers. And so what we do is we can show you anything through the window. So we'll bring knives to the customers and show them, but you know, when there's a line going, we set up a table outside, and we'll just bring things to you and show you, and so you can still get a hands-on experience. You can kind of look at our website, get an idea, but when you're picking a knife for the first time, or anytime you're getting a new style, you really want to feel it, because a picture does not do it justice. You don't know how it feels. So Wusthof, we have everything they make. That's really our staple. But we also have Japanese knives, so Kikuichi, those are handmade in Japan, and then we also have Madddie, and I really love their black Madddie line. I have this chef knife at home, and it's dangerously sharp, but it's so light, so I've been using this with my CSA box I got from Urban Roots.
Yeah. All right, you guys, I'm going to move on to just a very quick and simple demo of food, because I know you guys watch these for the food demos as well, but I am going to be using an Epicurean cutting board, which is great. I have chosen one that I love. It was actually my very first one, which I probably got, oh gosh, I don't even know, 17 years ago maybe. Today my recipe is going to be grilled shrimp with garlic and black pepper. So let's see, I've got my grilled shrimp. So I've got my shrimp, and you want some pretty decent sized shrimp. I got these extra large shrimp, and they are rinsed off, they are deveined, they are skin off, but I do leave the tails on. I'm going to turn on a grill pan. This recipe calls for them to be grilled, so it doesn't matter if it's on a grill outside or on a grill pan in your house. And I'm going to use the grill pan on my house so you guys can see what I'm doing. So the ingredients for this are very simple. It is going to be jalapeno, garlic, of course, coarse ground black pepper, and I'll show you why coarse ground in a moment. Fresh citrus juice. I'm using lime, but you can turn it into some, kind of a Cuban mojo and use an orange or lemons or whatever you want. Grapefruit if you want to do that. Oil, your shrimp, and your salt. I mean, it's so simple. That's it. It's like 4 or 5 ingredients. You're good to go. On the recipe that you guys can find on the website when it is posted, you'll also see that there is an additional recipe to go along with this for a romesco sauce. That is a Spanish sauce made with almonds and red peppers, roasted red peppers. It is phenomenal. Good dipping sauce, good pour over sauce, but these are fine just plain as well. So very quick, I'm going to add in a half a jalapeno. I'm going to actually blend it all up in this little food processor. I am going to add in half of a jalapeno. I'm going to add in 4 cloves of garlic, and this is for about a half a pound of shrimp, okay? So 4 cloves of garlic, which is a lot, half a jalapeno, 1 tablespoon of coarse ground black pepper. And the reason I want to use coarse ground, and the reason why it's a tablespoon, is because this recipe is going to highlight both the garlic and the black pepper flavors. I do grind my own spices. Of course, I have my own spice line, Tijerina Global Spices, and so I always have fresh ground black pepper, and I can focus on how coarsely or finely ground I want it. So the larger courses on that black pepper are going to allow you to have kind of bigger chunks on there and give it a little bit more texture when you're eating it, but not enough to like break your teeth. You don't want whole peppercorns in there either. And then 1 tablespoon of fresh citrus juice. Again, like I said, I'm going to use lime here. So I'm just going to squeeze that in there enough. It's a really juicy lime. A quick trick, Madddie, and for those of you watching, if you didn't know, to get the most juice out of your citrus, if you are hand squeezing it, I also have a citrus juicer, which I can use as well. To get the most out of it, your best bet is to take it, the whole one, and just kind of roll it back and forth on your cutting board. It's something I teach people in my classes as well. And then 2 tablespoons of oil. You can use whatever kind of oil you want. I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil. I think it's a Spanish variety here. But you can use any kind you want. And then I'm going to just lightly oil my pan here that's over medium-high heat. I'm going to quickly pulse this. That's it.
That's so easy.
That's it. So now I'm going to add the shrimp to this bowl here. And I'm going to pour this over. It's It's a beautiful color. And then I'm just gonna kind of slightly mix it around a little bit with a spoon, just make sure it's fully coated. And now that acid that I've got on there, that lime juice, is gonna start to cook your fish, is gonna start to cook your shrimp, but I'm not gonna let it marinate. You can if you want to. I wouldn't go more than about 20 minutes, otherwise you will fully cook your shrimp, and by the time you actually put it over the flame and start to eat it, it'll be very tough. So I am just gonna go ahead and skewer these shrimp. This. And I wait to salt till to this point. You guys can go ahead and salt the sauce if you want earlier on, but I like to be able to control the amount of salt that I put on my food, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and want to cook them for about 1.5 to 2 minutes on one side. Get those grill marks, those char marks on there, and then flip it over. You'll see the color change from like that translucent color to a very bright pink color, and they'll start to kind of shrivel up. That's when you know they're pretty well done. You like to cook, Maddy, you said, right?
I've gotten to kind of, I went to school for business, so I don't have formal training, but I really enjoy it, and I kind of view my CSA box as a challenge every week, because I get things I wouldn't normally make, and then I go look at recipes and trial and error it until it works, but I really enjoy it.
Awesome. Do you have any favorite chefs or any favorite websites that you go to more often than not?
Really, I borrow from friends. If I see somebody make something good, I'm like, okay, where did you learn to make this, or what's the recipe?
I've been into like old recipes lately, like recipes from my great-grandparents and from farms and like the old church cookbooks. You know?
I just found grandma's old cookbook.
Did you? It's funny how many desserts are in those things.
Yeah, it's not healthy food at all.
Lots of cream of mushroom, lots of sugar. All right, I'm going to turn the heat off on that. Hopefully my smoke alarm doesn't go off. All right, so I did have to modify my skewer, as you can tell, to fit my grill pan, but they are absolutely beautiful. I'm going to just throw a little bit of lime juice on there. I'm going to dice up a little bit of parsley that I have. You can use any kind of herb you want. If you've got herbs from your garden, that looks great too. It'll taste great. Some cilantro, whatever you've got. But that,
oh, that looks delicious.
you guys can see, is your grilled shrimp with garlic and black pepper. Again, if you want to make it super, super garlicky, you can add a lot more garlic, but even for just 3 skewers, 4 skewers, which is about 1/2 pound of shrimp, you use 4 cloves of garlic. So it's almost a garlic clove per 4 shrimp, which is, in my book, perfect, but you never know. So Maddy, thank you so much for joining us today. I am so grateful that you guys are a part of us at Minnesota Garlic Festival. Thank you for offering to be a part of the virtual affair this year. It's been really fun. Hopefully we'll see you out there next year. You could stop by and see what we're doing, hang out with us, give away some coupons. We'll see what's going on. People can visit your store online, eversharp.com, correct? They've got a lot of stuff on there. Go ahead and check out what they've got, you guys. Get your knives sharpened. We're going to give away some knife sharpening coupons, so stay tuned, you guys. Please head over to our Facebook page at Minnesota Garlic Festival, our Instagram, hashtag Minnesota Garlic Fest. You guys have an Instagram and Facebook as well, Maddy?
We do, Eversharp Kitchen Store.
Thank you so much for joining us, Maddy. Have a wonderful afternoon. I look forward to talking with you soon, and we'll give away that fun Epicurean cutting board.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Maddy.